A lot of people might be wondering, what am I going to focus on? The basketball season ending or the baseball season starting? Because baseball begins on Thursday. And am I going to track the Cubs, or am I going to continue to track the Philadelphia 76ers? Well, the answer is mostly me continuing to track the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm not saying I'm going to completely focus my attention onto it. I will maybe be making some Cubs videos, but my primary focus is going to be on what's happening with Joel Embiid or James Harden or Tyrese Maxey and what's going on with the Philadelphia 76ers into the NFL playoffs. What is their seeding going to be most likely? Who are they going to be facing up against? All that juicy stuff is what my channel is going to be focused on. And we'll have some small Cubs stuff intermingled here and there when I feel it is appropriate to make a video. The beginning of the season really does not matter. It really does not matter what the beginning of the season is. In 2019, the Detroit Tigers had a 7-3 start. Pretty good. But then they finished on a 47-115 season. That's horrible. That is a historically bad season if something like that, were to actually occur. You cannot have a season that bad. It's just horrible. But you never know that was going to happen for the first 10 games. You just wouldn't. So that's why the beginning season is irrelevant. Plenty of good teams throughout baseball have had, a terrible first part of the year. The 2019 Washington Nationals started off 1931. They wound up winning their first World Series that year by turning it around. Philadelphia Phillies, they also started off, I think 21-29. And look at how they turned it around. Oh my God, it's actually warm outside. Maybe I should take my sweatshirt off. Anyway, I feel like with the beginning of the season in baseball, nothing is really set in stone. And it's not even like football, where after a few games, you can get the vibe of it, which even then isn't totally true. The 49ers this year started off 3-4 and then won their next 10 games. That's how they got the number 2 seed. The Cincinnati Bengals started off 4-4, and they won their next 8 games, which punched their ticket into the NFL postseason. And, they got the number 3 seed off that. These were all meh starts, but again, if a team can turn it around, they can wind up really succeeding, and a team could also wind up crashing. Look at the Tennessee Titans, eliminated from the playoffs and in the number 11 seed in spite of having a 7-3 start by losing their next 7 consecutive games. Jets starting off 7-4, losing their next 6 games, winding up in the number 10 seed and also being mathematically eliminated from the NFL playoffs. It's that sort of stuff that again, really shows how the start of a season does not matter. In 2019, the Cubs themselves were very likely to make it to the postseason and lost 9 consecutive games. That is what wound up eliminating the Cubs from the postseason. But that I will follow through updates on, even though it's the start of NFL season. Again, a lot of videos coming out in the summer when I'm free, because that's when the Cubs, baseball is the only thing that really goes on. Also, as far as the NHL, am I going to be making hockey videos? The problem with me and hockey videos is that I don't really care that much about hockey. It's, I think, the least interesting sport to watch from my perspective. Not that I watch that much football or basketball, and I haven't even watched that much baseball, but, it's like the least interesting sport, I think, in my opinion. The Seattle Kraken, I want them to succeed. I am a Kraken fan, but I'm not that big of a Kraken fan. If the Kraken lose, I'm not going to be that upset. So if the Kraken win, I'm not going to be overly excited either, because I just don't care about hockey that much. Hockey just does not interest me that much. As of right now, it looks like the Seattle Kraken are in a position to make it to the playoffs, but there's not going to be that many Kraken updates on my video. You might get some Kraken updates, but there's not going to be that much stuff related to the Seattle Kraken on my YouTube channel. Finally, as far as those cringy weather updates, I've pretty much given up on any hope of snow. I kind of want it to be spring by now. It does look like we're going to see a bit of a cold blast, but it's nothing that's that unseasonable. It's going to be slightly below average. If this winds up dragging March temperatures below average, I might make a video covering it. March was a very boring month for weather, which actually in turn makes it interesting as to how the temperatures were so concentrated. So, you know, you might see some of that kind of content also fall on my YouTube channel. But right now, my biggest priority is, first of all, making sure that my chem videos actually get released. 9.5 has to be filmed, and at some point, 9.7 also has to be filmed. And in addition to that, tracking the Philadelphia 76ers, what is going on. The NFL free agency I'm also going to have somewhat of an interest in. I heard Bobby Wagner has been re-signed to the Seattle Seahawks, and that makes me delighted. Bobby Wagner was actually on the Seahawks when they won the Super Bowl back in 2014, the year that it was in MetLife Stadium. So, again, I would love to see him back in Seattle. I heard he ditched them to join the Rams. Russell Wilson also left, but honestly, I consider Russell Wilson to be irrelevant because he led the Broncos to like one of their worst seasons on record. So screw you, Russell Wilson and Bobby Wagner. Welcome back to Seattle.